January 26, 1945. The forests near Holtzwihr, France. The cold is a physical enemy. It clings to everything. It is so cold that the oil in the rifles has turned to thick sludge. The snow is deep, over a foot in most places, and the trees are skeletal, shattered by weeks of relentless artillery fire. For the men of B Company, 15th Infantry Regiment, this is the edge of the world. They are cold, they are exhausted, and they are dangerously few. Just 3 months ago, B Company landed in southern France with 128 healthy, well-equipped men. Today, after brutal fighting through the Vosges Mountains and the Colmar Pocket, only 19 men are left who can still hold a rifle. Their leader is 2nd Lieutenant Audie Murphy. He is only 20 years old. He looks younger, barely 18. He is small, slight, and clean-shaven, weighing only about 130 pounds. To a casual observer, he looks like a boy, lost in a war too big for him. But the men of B Company do not see a boy. They see a hardened veteran. They see a man who has already earned the Distinguished Service Cross, 2 Silver Stars and 2 Bronze Stars. They see a leader who has been wounded multiple times but always somehow returns to the front line. And today, his eyes, the eyes that his men say look cold like a killer's, are fixed on the open snowfield to his front. His orders are simple: hold the line. B Company is the only thing standing between the German attackers and a vital crossroads that leads to the Allied rear. If this line breaks, the entire sector could collapse. Murphy has spread his 19 exhausted men along the edge of the forest, digging them into shallow foxholes in the frozen ground. They are not alone. They have support. 2 M10 Tank Destroyers. These are their heavy hitters. Their job is to stop the German Panzers that everyone knows are coming. The morning is eerily quiet. Too quiet. The only sound is the wind whistling through the shattered trees and the distant, muffled crump of artillery. The men wait. They check their weapons, their frozen fingers clumsy on the cold steel. They try to keep the fear down. At approximately 2 p.m., the quiet breaks. It is not a loud noise at first. It is a rumble, a deep, mechanical vibration that the men feel in their chests before they hear it. It is the sound of heavy armor, moving through the trees on the far side of the field. Then they appear. First one, then 2. 6 German Panzer tanks, their long 75mm cannons pointing directly at the American line. Behind them, 2 full companies of German infantry, dressed in white snow camouflage, advance across the open field. At least 250 men. The 19 men of B Company open fire. Their rifles crackle, their machine guns chatter. But the attack is too big, too heavy. The German Panzers begin firing high-explosive shells directly into the tree line. The explosions are devastating. Trees splinter. Frozen earth erupts. 2 of Murphy's men are hit instantly. The German infantry keeps advancing, ignoring the casualties, a relentless wave of white and gray. Then, the situation goes from bad to catastrophic. One of the 2 American M10 Tank Destroyers takes a direct hit from a German tank shell. It explodes in a massive orange fireball. The second M10, seeing its partner destroyed and facing 6 Panzers alone, begins to back up. It maneuvers into a ditch, trying to find a better firing position, but its tracks spin uselessly. It is stuck. The crew abandons it and runs. In a matter of minutes, B Company's only anti-tank defense is gone. The 19 men are now alone, facing 6 tanks and 250 soldiers. The German tanks, now unopposed, increase their fire. They are systematically blowing the American foxholes apart. The line is breaking. The remaining men begin to fall back, running deeper into the woods. This is not a retreat. It is a rout. B Company is being annihilated. The crossroads is about to be lost. Lieutenant Audie Murphy stands his ground. He watches his men retreat, and he looks at the advancing German line. He knows the battle is over, but he is not retreating. Audie Murphy unslings the M1 carbine from his shoulder. He is alone. His men are gone, scrambling for safety deeper in the forest. He is now the only American soldier on the entire front line. In front of him, the wave of German infantry, now confident, continues to advance, less than 100 yards away. He turns and sprints, but he is not running towards his retreating men. He is running towards the abandoned M10 Tank Destroyer that is stuck in the ditch, the same one the crew had just fled. It is a death trap. The vehicle is exposed. It is the single biggest target on the battlefield, and it is on fire. Thick, black smoke is pouring from a hit it took on its rear armor. Any second, the flames could reach the fuel tanks or the ammunition, and the entire machine will detonate. Murphy does not care. He leaps into the ditch, scrambles up the side of the steel hull, and throws open the commander's hatch. He drops inside. He looks around the smoky interior. The crew is gone, but the weapon is still here. Mounted on the back of the open-topped turret is the M10's primary defense against infantry, a 50 caliber M2 Browning heavy machine gun. It is one of the most powerful machine guns in the world, firing a bullet as thick as a man's thumb. Murphy grabs the butterfly triggers. He aims the heavy barrel towards the advancing line of white camouflaged German infantry, and he opens fire. The sound is deafening, a catastrophic, hammering roar. The 50 caliber machine gun explodes to life, spitting a stream of massive tracer rounds across the snow. The effect on the German infantry line is devastating. These are not rifle bullets. A single 50 caliber round can tear a man in half. The first wave of German soldiers disappears. They do not just fall. They are physically blown backwards into the snow, their white camouflage instantly stained red. The German commanders are stunned. They thought the M10 was abandoned. They thought the line was broken. Now, the abandoned vehicle is not only fighting back, it is unleashing a storm of lead more intense than anything they had faced all day. They order their men to concentrate all fire on that single burning tank destroyer. Rifle bullets, machine gun bullets, and explosive shells begin to pour onto Murphy's position. Bullets spark and ping off the thin armor all around him. He is standing in an open turret. He has no protection from above. Shrapnel from nearby artillery bursts rains down on him. A piece of hot metal rips through his leg. He ignores it. He is completely focused. He is calm. His men, who had retreated into the woods, watch in disbelief. They see their lieutenant, all alone, standing on a burning tank destroyer, single-handedly holding back the entire German army. The German infantry, unable to advance against the wall of 50 caliber fire, falters. They stop, dive into the snow, and begin to retreat, dragging their wounded. Now, the German Panzers take notice. They see their infantry attack has failed. They identify the source, the lone American in the M10. The nearest Panzer turns its long 75mm cannon. It aims, and it fires. A high explosive shell screams across the field and explodes, striking the M10. The entire vehicle shudders violently from the impact. The explosion throws Murphy backwards, smashing him against the turret wall. For a moment, he is dazed, his ears ringing, his vision blurred. He tastes blood. The German tank, seeing the American is not dead, begins to reload. Murphy shakes his head, pulls himself back to his feet, grabs the triggers of the 50 caliber, and opens fire again. The German tankers are incredulous. The American in the M10 is still alive and still firing. His .50 caliber machine gun hammers away, forcing the supporting infantry to stay pinned down, unable to advance with their tanks. Murphy knows he has only seconds before the Panzers fire again. He is a sitting duck. The M10's main gun is useless, and his heavy machine gun cannot harm a Panzer. He is in an impossible situation, but he has one last weapon. Inside the smoky turret, he spots the field telephone. It is the SCR-610 radio, still connected to the field artillery command post miles behind the line. He grabs the handset, still firing the machine gun in long, continuous bursts with his other hand to keep the infantry's heads down. "This is Lieutenant Murphy, B Company. Is this artillery?" A voice crackles back, faint and distant. "This is artillery. We read you. What is your target?" Murphy takes a deep breath. He looks out over the field. The German tanks are maneuvering, trying to get a clear shot. The infantry is reforming for another assault. They are less than 100 yards away. He gives the only order that can save the line. "The target is my own position. Repeat, fire on me. Danger close." The artillery officer on the other end is silent for a second. The request is insane. Firing on your own coordinates is a last desperate act. It will likely kill the man calling in the strike. "Lieutenant, that is your own position. We cannot fire on you." "You damn well will," Murphy screams back into the phone, his voice cold with fury. "I am alone. My men are gone. The Krauts are all over me. If you don't fire on this grid square, they will take the woods. Fire the—" His words are cut off as a second Panzer shell hits the M10. The explosion is blinding. The blast rips through the open turret, throwing shrapnel everywhere. Murphy is hit again, this time in the side. He is knocked off his feet, collapsing to the floor of the turret in a heap. The phone line is dead. He lies there for a moment, the world spinning. The vehicle is burning more intensely now. He can feel the heat of the flames on his back, searing through his uniform. He is badly wounded. Any sane man would leave. But Audie Murphy is not leaving. He looks up. The .50 caliber machine gun is still there. He pulls himself up, his body screaming in pain, and grabs the triggers again. He fires. Ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. He does not know if the artillery got his message. All he knows is that he cannot let the Germans advance. Then, he hears it. It is a new sound. A beautiful, terrible sound. A high-pitched whistling like a freight train in the sky, growing louder every second. It is the sound of friendly artillery. "Shells! Shells!" The German infantry screams, recognizing the sound. Murphy's desperate call had gotten through. A split second later, the world explodes. The entire snowfield in front of the M10 disappears in a storm of fire, steel, and black smoke. American 105mm shells crash down, perfectly placed, exactly where Murphy had called them. The artillery barrage lands directly on top of the reforming German infantry. The attack is shattered. The wave of white camouflage soldiers is torn apart, vaporized. The German Panzers, now without their infantry support, are suddenly exposed. They stop, confused. They fire wildly at the tree line, but the American artillery is too intense. Murphy, still on his burning M10, watches the destruction. He is directing the fire. He grabs the handset again. The line is miraculously still active. "Artillery! This is Murphy!" he yells over the din. "Good effect! Good effect on target! Keep it coming! Drop it 50 yards!" He is correcting the fire, walking the shells back and forth across the field, hunting the remaining infantry squads. He continues to fire his .EG Char 1007 50 caliber machine gun at the same time. catching any survivors who try to retreat. He is a one-man army. A single wounded soldier on a burning tank commanding an entire artillery battalion while simultaneously fighting off an infantry assault. For 1 full hour, the battle raged. It was not a battle. It was a duel between one wounded man on a burning vehicle and an entire German armored assault force. The German Panzers were now in a terrible position. Their infantry support was gone, either dead or pinned down by Murphy's .50 caliber and the relentless American artillery he was directing. A tank alone is vulnerable. They fired shell after shell at the M10, but the American artillery was now so thick and accurate they could not hold their ground. The danger-close fire mission Murphy had called upon himself had created a wall of steel that the Panzers could not cross. The burning M10 was now an inferno. The deck plates were scorching hot, the smoke so thick Murphy could barely breathe. Ammunition in the .50 caliber box began to cook off from the heat, exploding in small, uncontrolled bursts. The leg he had been wounded in was numb, soaked in his own blood. He was running on pure, cold adrenaline. Finally, the German commanders had enough. They had lost dozens of men and their tank attack was stalled, facing a single, immovable point of resistance. They gave the order to retreat. Murphy watched, his eyes narrowed as the Panzers began to back up slowly. He watched them turn their heavy hulls and rumble back across the snowfield, retreating into the cover of the far woods. The German infantry, or what was left of it, followed them, dragging their wounded, vanishing back into the trees. The attack was broken. Only then. Only when the last German tank had disappeared from view. Only when the field in front of him was silent, save for the crackle of his burning vehicle and the moans of the wounded. Only then did Second Lieutenant Audie Murphy finally let go of the machine gun's triggers. He looked down at his leg, as if noticing the wound for the first time. He was covered in blood, soot, and oil. He knew the M10 was about to explode. He calmly picked up the field telephone handset one last time. "This is Murphy," he reported, his voice raspy. "The attack is broken. They are retreating. Cease fire." He dropped the handset. He swung his wounded leg over the side of the turret. He half fell, half climbed off the burning wreck and began to limp, stumble, and crawl his way back towards the safety of his own lines in the woods. He was 50 yards away, just as he collapsed into the snow near his own men, when the M10 Tank Destroyer he had been standing on for an hour finally exploded. The fuel tanks and the remaining ammunition detonated in a single massive fireball that sent a column of black smoke hundreds of feet into the air. The very spot where he had stood no longer existed. His men, the few survivors of B Company, rushed to him. They stared at him in silent, reverent awe. He was wounded in the leg and side. He was bleeding. He was burned. He looked up at them, his face black with smoke, and gave his report, his voice still a calm, cold monotone. "They were trying to flank us," he said. "They're pulling back now." He then, and only then, allowed the medics to treat his wounds. In that 1 hour, Audie Murphy, alone on his burning platform, had personally killed or wounded an estimated 50 German soldiers. He had stopped an attack by 6 Panzers and 250 infantrymen. He had saved his company from annihilation and held the vital crossroads. For this single action, on this frozen field in France, he would be awarded the Medal of Honor, America's highest decoration for bravery. But he was not done. By the end of the war, Audie Murphy would have earned every single combat decoration for valor the United States Army could bestow. 33 awards and medals in total, including 5 from France and 1 from Belgium. He was the most decorated American soldier of World War II. He was the small, quiet boy who looked like he didn't belong. He was the soldier who had faced down an entire army and won. His was the impossible story of the one-man stand that saved the line.